Alrighty y'all, so this is going to be an unboxing and first impressions of the Prandi Yankee Hatchet. This is the 20-inch model with about a 2-pound head. Right off the bat, the edge is sticking out of the box a little bit, which is not really a problem with the axe so much as the shipping, but it also went through the little rubber guard as well, so it's probably decently sharp, but the edge is not really damaged from what I can tell. There we go. Oh my goodness. That is nice. Wow. Guess what I was so taken aback by is the kind of the beauty and the size of the head. I mean, wow, this does have some, wow. I guess first thing I'll talk about is how big the head is. This is a 2-pound head on a 20-inch handle. Typically hatchets are maybe 14-inch handle, 1 1/4 pound head. I have another Prandi. This is a 1 3/4 pound head on a 16-inch handle. Really love this one. Thin, wide blade, so it's good for limbing. Really good chopper because it's thin. And this one has a broad enough blade, and the head is just beautiful. I mean, look at that. That is beautiful. 2 pounds. I really like the size of it. They call this their Yankee axe. It reminds me a lot of a Dayton pattern, the way it's so square. And another thing which I found really interesting is, look at the pole there. You see how it's kind of rounded over? Let me grab another axe real quick and I'll show you guys something. Alright, so your regular axe, the pole is, not really rounded over like that. It's pretty much straight back from the eye. Whereas with this one, probably to conserve weight, they got it rounded over like that, which I really like. Really beautiful and a lot of attention to detail. Another thing I like is look at that bit. That is a really good profile in my opinion. It's thin enough that it can chop, but it's also wide enough to pop chips, and I imagine this would also be a good splitter. Just look at the head. How nice it is. It's got this nice polished bit there. Got 2 pounds stamped right into it. And the 20-inch, I wasn't really originally a fan of the 20-inch size. This is a Marbles outdoor axe, which is pretty much the same price as this is right now because it's on sale. This one is also 20-inch handle. Using it, I wasn't really a big fan of this, but this one I think I will be. Just because of the beautiful 2-pound head. This handle, I really like it. It's thick and beefy. Now obviously thicker handles, you kind of get more shock from that, but this would be durable as like a, splitting hatchet, or even just something you can put 2 hands on and really put to work. Obviously, not everything's perfect, as I'll show you guys. So my first Prandi came loose on me after first time I took it out. It came loose, not very loose, but the head you could wiggle it a little bit. And then, because it was sanded, the handle was sanded flush with the eye, I pounded the handle, and the handle popped up, which means it's loose. So they didn't seat the head down on the handle all the way. And then I also pounded another metal wedge in to tighten it up, and you can see that the wooden wedge went down in further. So, yeah, they didn't seat the head down all the way on this, and they didn't seat the wedge all the way. And I've heard other people with Prandi axes. I know Wrangler Star, he said every one that he had came loose. And if we look at this, not sure how well you guys can see it, but there's a very, very sizable gaps right there. So I have no doubt that, as pretty much hearing that everybody, not everybody that's had a Prandi, but, mine came loose, and a lot of people say they come loose, and especially with that gap being there. This one will likely come loose. You can see there, it's got those round wedges, which seems to me every axe that I've had that has had a round wedge, except for my Marbles, has come loose. So to me it seems like if you see a round wedge, it's an indication that there's a problem with the hang, and they're just trying to, get as much wedge out of the metal. You know, it seems to me that's why they use them, is there's a problem with the hang. Just seems to me anyhow. But aside from that, I guess we'll point out another thing. You can also see there's a little bit of a ledge right there. Typically you want your axe head to go over the handle, not dig into it. So the hang on this one is not really good. I kind of expected that when I bought it, you know, as I've heard with the Prandis and in my experience. But that's not too big of a problem because I can always rehang it. That's what I was intending on doing. But overall, I really like it. I mean, the head is just absolutely beautiful. The attention to detail on the head, it truly is a work of art, but a functional work of art. And the handle is thick, maybe thicker than some people would like, but I'm going to leave it because, you know, thickness can have durability. The grain, I suppose I didn't check that, but the grain, also good. And this one is hickory handle. I believe there might be a very light coating of lacquer on it. It's not nearly as thick as some axes, but it does feel like there's a little bit on there. Yeah, just so beautiful. I'm going to take this one out, try splitting with it or chopping it and see how it performs. But yeah, I'll mention the price first. This normally runs about, you know, $48, $50. On Amazon it was $48 or $50, but I got it on sale for $35, which is why I jumped on it. I know I checked a few days ago, they still have it on sale for $35, and they also have the polished version, which has the full polish on the head, for $36. You know, I've heard that polished axes work better. Maybe you want it, but I just like the forged look of this much better. These are 1045 carbon steel, which is, you know, you can certainly get better if you pay more, but it's much better than your hardware store axes. And this one, the edge that came on it from the factory was pretty good. And I didn't use it a whole lot, but I did use it splitting kindling and chopping wood we had lying around, and it was still sharp. So, let's see how this one is. Seems pretty good. I'm going to grab a sheet of paper and we'll see if we can cut it. Alright, this one's pretty thin, so it might be difficult, but we'll see. Yeah, this one's thinner than the printer paper, but she will do it a little bit. I think if we had a little bit thicker sheet of like printer paper or something. This one's also relatively damp. Like I said, I think if we had a thicker sheet of paper, this would work really well. Give you guys one more look at that beautiful head. Man, that is just something. That little roundedness there. When I first took a look at this and I saw how round this was, I thought the eye was bulged or something, but no, that's the way they designed it. Of course, it's got this nice tapered blade, which I think would be a good chopper and a good splitter. Handle, also really like it. It's straight with, it does have a little bit of a curve, but it's pretty straight. And being 2 pounds and a 20-inch handle, it's, I know on Amazon it was advertised as a 19.5 inch. Typically that's probably the length after hanging. Before hanging it was probably 20 that they shot for. It also has this little leather lanyard, which I don't really care for, but I suppose the one advantage of this is you could keep it on you and use it as a strop in the field. Well, I'm going to turn the camera off real quick, test her out, see how she chops, splits, see if she comes loose, and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright y'all, that was my first impressions and unboxing of the Prandi Yankee hatchet. Stay tuned because soon I'll be coming out with footage of where I'm testing this hatchet, and we'll get to see how well it performs and does the head come loose. You'll have to stay tuned to find out.